I got a tweet. We asked that question on Twitter, and some messages keep coming in. This is what I would envision Pete's answer to be. Phillies sports fan forever tweets he was on the toilet when he heard the news. Pete Thompson, that sounds like something you would be doing.
It's a good guess.
Sir, there's a high probability, but that's not where I was. We don't get Twitter at school on the computers because, you're supposed to be educating the youth of America. So no Twitter, no Facebook, none of that stuff. So I was actually putting some grades and school stuff in, and the other teacher that I work with, Mr. Booth, came in and said, "Hey, Philly's got Bryce Harper." And I'm like, "What? Really?" And then I started going to got my phone out and dug my phone out, and yes, it was on Twitter. And, of course, you can never always fully believe Twitter, but then I started seeing it in some other places too. So
yeah, a lot of blue check marks, right?
Yeah, you got to look for that blue check mark, Mike Gill.
That's right. All right, so Bryce Harper. So the question is, how many Phillies games will the PT see himself at this year?
I don't know. I mean, are you and I going to be a package deal? Or are we going up there? Is that the story? Are you laying that out right now?
Well, how many games would you like to go to? Like, how many games did you go to last season?
That would be one or maybe two. I think it was one. Yeah, we usually get some tickets around my dad's birthday. Those tickets could be a little harder to get this year, I surmise.
Yeah.
Last couple of years, it's been one of those like we got them at face value with their Hall of Fame club. They're right above home plate. They're real nice, and they might be a little more difficult to purchase this year. But yeah, I'm ready to go. If you're ready to go, I'll go.
PT, you're a little bit above average, for the fans as far as watching the Phillies. I mean, I remember throughout the summer, you're watching pretty consistently, are you not?
Well, I'm old school enough, Ryan, that that's part of my summer soundtrack.
Right.
You throw the Phillies on, and you're kind of half watching it, but you're interested. And if you're in the car, I mean, I am that guy that if I'm in the car, and there is a game on of my teams, Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, I want to listen to that game. Now, preferably like the Eagles, you're totally locked in. The Phillies are one of those passive things where because it's baseball, it's that speed. But man, am I juiced that they got this guy. I love that he continues well, he probably is going to get himself in trouble, but he's just, he literally, you almost think that every time they're going to stick a mic in his face, he's going to say, "Hi, Mike Trout. I'm Bryce Harper, Mike Trout. I want to talk about Mike Trout. We're going to get Mike Trout." He's just going nuts on trying to get this guy, which is great to see, but I hope he doesn't get himself in trouble.
Yeah, it's part of the excitement, I guess, and it comes with the territory of now having Bryce Harper. It immediately shifts to, "Ooh, man, this shiny new toy would look much more shinier with Mike Trout." But do you think the ballpark is going to be filled? I mean, we had those conversations daily last summer. Like, man, look, was there 1,000 people in there? No one's watching. You don't see the ball caps and the T-shirt jerseys like you used to in the quote-unquote good old days, 2008, 9, 10, 11. Do you think that this move gets the franchise close to that level or not yet?
Well, I don't think it's instantaneous, but, home opener sold out, obviously, lock, stock, and barrel. The prices that they were saying on the secondary market for, seats in right field are going, face value, the tickets are what, $90 or $80 or whatever they are, $48 or whatever.
Standing room for
right.
Standing room for $40, and I think it jumped up to $120, Pete.
So that's a little. And I have a buddy of mine, okay? So this is last Thursday that the news broke, right? So I have a buddy of mine that works in the Phillies ticket office. And I texted him and said, "I'd ask you how your last 48 hours has been, but I think I know." And he still hasn't texted me back. He's just slammed. That over 100,000 tickets sold. And
I don't feel bad for him. He's going to get a new car, a new,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. No, it's a good problem to have.
Exactly.
Do I think it'll get back to the glory days, where it was the place to be? I think it could approach that. A lot of it has to do, too. We're a fickle fan base, right? If we get to, if they get off to a decent start in April and they're still, maybe making noise in May, right, then people are going to start going to the ballpark. But if they get April, May, and they're
I don't know, man. I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go out in April right off the bat.
Yeah, early, heavy.
We said yesterday, over/under. I said about 28 to 30,000 would be the average attendance, maybe right off the bat.
just for the curiosity, and I would agree with that. And when you go down the lineup, MG, where's the weak spot? I mean, I guess maybe Odubel, perhaps, or Michael Franco, maybe. But, I mean, there's just, the big names. I know you're not as high on McCutchen, Mike Gill, as other people are. I know you're people fall in love with that name, McCutchen, and that's like the 5-year ago McCutchen. But it's amazing sometimes how a change of zip code energizes a guy. Plus, now with all the names that they've added, maybe you weren't in love with McCutchen when he first joined, like when they made that move, but now you put so many other names around him, he doesn't have to be MVP McCutchen. He can just be McCutchen.
I got you. Yeah, as a secondary player, I'm not as low on him, but we'll see. All right, I want to flip gears real fast. 5 points out. Orange and black. 5 points out. Do the math with me, PT, here. Should we still have hope?
Well, sure, until it says, until that tragic number comes up on that chart I get from the National Hockey League every morning. The guy's name is Damien. Yeah, I get a chart in my email. I offered it to you one time, and you're like, PT, I just go to the website. I can read it right off there, PT. I don't need no stinking chart. I offered it to you. I'll forward it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, I got it.
I love a good chart.
Yeah, all right.
It has the tragic number on the bottom of it and everything. It's real cool.
Now, let me just rip down the schedule real fast here, okay?
Hit me, baby.
I want you to kind of compute in your head how many wins the PT sees, all right?
Yes, there's 16 games left.
Okay.
Yes.
Washington at the Islanders, Ottawa, Washington at Toronto, at Pittsburgh, Montreal, at Chicago, Islanders. They play the Islanders a lot here.
Yeah.
At Washington, Toronto,
and
at Carolina, the Rangers, at Dallas, at St. Louis, Carolina.
Yeah, and these aren't your, Islanders the years past where they were just sneaking out the joint. It was nice that they beat them 4-1 the other day. I'd say out of 16 games left, how many do they win? I'm going to say it's like 10 or 12 that they stay in it for a while, but I just think, they dug themselves too far a hole. Because the problem is the teams that are ahead of them continue to win too. And look, I just saw this today. They have 4 games left with Washington. You said Washington 4 times, I believe, when you ran off that list.
1, 2, 3.
Not 4?
Nope, 3.
Well, 3.
Sir, 3.
Including tomorrow, then March 14th, and then again March 24th.
Right. I just think, they're the defending Stanley Cup champions for a reason, right? You think all of a sudden the Capitals forgot how to play hockey? It says something to me that other than the Stadium Series game where they had to rally too, it says something to me that the Flyers, when they play like the big teams, like it's great that they get, look, you beat up with the Devils, fine. That's fantastic. You found a way to beat the Islanders, great. Go beat somebody that's ahead of you that's like an elite team. They didn't beat Tampa, obviously. They struggled with Columbus. Let's see what they do with Washington tomorrow night. I'm going to say, Mike Gill, that they don't make it, but I can't wait to be wrong.
Yeah, Kevin Durso wrote about, regardless of what happens, this has been fun. So what have you learned? By the way, Carter Hart not playing, but Elliott's been playing pretty well, so it'll be interesting to see if they just stick with the veteran now. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, he's supposed to go. I saw something today on social media that it looks like he's somebody that was in practice today says he's probably going to go there. And why not go? And that's something. What have I learned? I've learned that a guy that we left for dead on the scrap heap in Lehigh Valley, when they traded for Cam Talbot, you said, okay, you got Hart, you got Cam Talbot. See you, Moose. Thanks for all you did. You're just going to be one of the 8 players that we had in goal and have a nice life, right? But all of a sudden, with injuries and stuff, who was in that at the Stadium Series, right? That would be Brian Elliott. Who's the guy that's the hot goalie that they keep going back to? That would be Brian Elliott. All of a sudden, a guy that was an afterthought. I've also learned that, there's some young players, I think, that really have made a good push, that I'd kind of written off. And they switched to a 1-3-1 in their forecheck, too. I think that had something to do with it. They were so bad in goals against. And I still think if you look at their differential, they're terrible. But they finally have figured out how to protect a little in their zone. That's why they've made this run. Plus, if it was me and I'm Chuck Fletcher, I say to management, look, you can't do any worse than the Scott Gordon guy. They're playing for him. Let's extend him.
That's interesting because Barry Melrose was on with us last week, said the same thing. How and I guess, we talk a lot about the coach in the NBA and all that stuff. That's been a big topic of conversation. It seems that the coaching change was a big difference for the Flyers.
I think so, and I mean, I think the whole thing is you play tight, but he had most of these guys, and a lot of the names that are contributing are names that are coming up from, like Travis Sanheim's come up and played well. He played under Gordon at the level below, right? I mean, the guys that have come up, Oscar Lindblom looks good, right? 8 goals and 6 assists in this run. That's a guy that played underneath him. Okay, so he has a relatability to the guys that came up for the AHL, and not for nothing, but I don't run budgets much, but from a business standpoint, he's cheap. He's cheap.
Tuesday with Thompson. Don't forget, download the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. PT, I have to ask you, because nobody else in the room knows anything about Fleetwood Mac. They never even heard of them. They couldn't give me a song.
Who?
Oh, sure. They got a lot of them. Don't Stop Believing. That was Bill Clinton's campaign song. And I think it's
that's Journey.
Mad about it.
Isn't that Journey?
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Sorry, I was so close, yet I was so far.
Yeah.
I do know this: they fired Lindsey Buckingham. That was their biggest news of the last couple of years. So
I thought you were going to this show.
I was thinking about it. I mean, I don't know. Are you going?
I have tickets, but I'm busy.
Well, maybe you should slide those tickets over to the PT.
Yeah, we're going to the show. I mean, we slide those tickets over to the PT. We're giving the tickets away. Download the app, and you can win a pair of tickets to see Fleetwood Mac.
Wow, you know who replaced Lindsey Buckingham? Mike Campbell, the guy that played with Tom Petty for all those years. So it's not like they replaced him with some has-been guitarist off the street.
All right.
Good to know.
All right.
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah,
man.
Stevie
You
Nicks,
go for her alone.
That's right. You go see Stevie Nicks.
Did
you ever see
Rihanna?
Did you ever see what was the movie we were talking about earlier?
Total Recall, yeah.
Total Recall, the original or the remake? The original was great. Quaid.
Yeah, the original. I've never seen it, PT. Is that a...
it's really, really good. You got to see the original. Rachel Ticotin and a very young Sharon Stone have like a girl-girl fight, and for a young 15-year-old Pete Thompson, that was like, whoa!
PT, what's your favorite sports comedy movie of all time?
I heard you guys talking about that. I was watching a making of the Caddyshack last night. There was a thing on A&E Biography that basically talked about how Harold Ramis had no idea what he was doing, and John Peters almost got everybody fired, and Rodney did a line of coke and then said, okay, what do I do? These guys were out of control. And then they realized they didn't have a scene between Chevy Chase and Bill Murray, and they were like, we have one note. Could we have a scene between our two biggest names, please?
All right, he's Pete Thompson. It's Tuesday with Thompson. Here on the Sports Bash, I heard it was packed at Hamilton to see the PT at ShopRite.
Yeah, they were lining up, man. It was good times. Good times.
Good,
Come on out and see it.
$1 million bracket. Sign up now, 97.3ESPN.com. Thanks, PT.
All right, MG.